Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the essentials of testing and software quality assurance, or SQA. Think of it like you've got this awesome new PC build, right? But before you hit that power button, you gotta make sure everything's hooked up right. That's kind of what SQA testing is for software, making sure it's stable, reliable, and does what it's supposed to. Whether you're a budding developer, a tech enthusiast, or just curious about the magic behind the digital curtain, this one's for you. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's jump right into the world of SQA testing. Alright, so what exactly is testing in the realm of software? Imagine you're building a house, right? You wouldn't just slap on the roof after pouring the foundation and call it a day, would you? Testing in SQA is kind of like that. It's a systematic process, like a meticulous inspection at every stage of building your software. We're talking about checking the code, the design, the functionality, everything, to make sure it meets the requirements and actually works as intended. It's about finding those pesky bugs, those little glitches and errors that can creep into even the most carefully crafted code. Think of testers as those eagle-eyed detectives, sniffing out vulnerabilities and inconsistencies before they turn into major headaches down the line. And it's not just about finding problems, it's also about making sure the software is user-friendly, reliable, and performs well under pressure. Because let's face it, nobody likes a laggy app or a website that crashes every 5 minutes. So, testing is essentially the unsung hero of software development, ensuring that what we end up with is a polished, robust, and reliable product that users will love. Now, you might be thinking, okay, testing sounds important and all, but what are we actually trying to achieve here? Well, my friends, testing has some pretty clear objectives, and they all boil down to one thing: ensuring quality. First and foremost, testing is about finding defects. Remember those pesky bugs we talked about? Testing is our secret weapon in hunting them down and squashing them before they wreak havoc. By identifying and reporting these defects early on, we can save ourselves a whole lot of pain and costly fixes down the road. But it's not just about finding problems, it's also about preventing them. By rigorously testing our software throughout the development process, we can identify potential issues early on and address them before they even become bugs. Another crucial objective of testing is to validate requirements. We need to make sure that the software we're building actually meets the needs of our users. Testing helps us ensure that all the features and functionalities are working as intended, and that the software behaves as expected in different scenarios. Ultimately, the objectives of testing all boil down to one thing: delivering high-quality software that meets user needs, functions flawlessly, and stands the test of time. Now, let's dive into the different types of testing because, believe it or not, there's a whole buffet of testing methodologies out there, each one designed to target specific aspects of your software and ensure it's firing on all cylinders. First up, we've got functional testing. This is all about making sure your software does what it's supposed to do. Think of it like testing the buttons on a remote control. Each button should trigger the corresponding action. Functional testing checks if features are working correctly, data is handled properly, and the overall flow of the application is smooth and seamless. Then we've got non-functional testing. This is where we look beyond the basic functionality and focus on things like performance, security, usability, and scalability. It's like testing how much weight a bridge can handle or how well a car handles in different weather conditions. Non-functional testing ensures that your software is robust, reliable, and can handle the demands of real-world usage. Now, within these two broad categories, we have a whole bunch of specialized testing types. We've got unit testing, where we test individual components of the code in isolation, like testing the engine of a car before putting it in the chassis. Then there's integration testing, where we test how these different components work together, like making sure the engine, transmission, and wheels are all playing nice with each other. We've also got system testing, where we test the entire system as a whole, like taking the car for a spin on the open road. And finally, we have regression testing, which is like making sure that fixing one bug didn't accidentally break something else. Every time we make changes to the software, we run regression tests to ensure that everything still works as expected. Now that we've got a handle on the different types of testing, let's walk through the actual testing process. Think of it like a roadmap that guides us through the entire testing journey, from planning to reporting. The first step, as with any good project, is planning. We need to define our testing goals, what we want to achieve with our tests, and what aspects of the software we're going to focus on. This is where we determine the scope of testing, the resources we'll need, and the overall timeline. Once we have a plan in place, it's time to move on to test design. This is where we roll up our sleeves and start creating the actual tests. We're talking about writing test cases, which are detailed instructions that outline the steps to execute a test, the expected results, and the actual results. With our tests designed and ready to go, it's time for the main event, test execution. This is where we put the software through its paces, running our tests and meticulously recording the results. As we execute our tests, we need a system for keeping track of everything. That's where test tracking comes in. Now, no talk about testing would be complete without mentioning the tools and techniques that testers rely on. Think of it like a mechanic's toolbox, filled with all sorts of gadgets and gizmos that help them diagnose and fix problems. One of the most essential tools in a tester's arsenal is a test management tool. This is like the central command center for all things testing. It's where we store our test cases, track our progress, log defects, and generate reports. There are tons of test management tools out there, from free and open source options to more feature-rich paid solutions. Then we've got defect tracking tools. These are specifically designed for logging and managing defects. We can use them to record details about each defect, like its severity, priority, steps to reproduce it, and its current status. Defect tracking tools help us keep track of all the bugs we find and ensure that they get fixed. Now, when it comes to automated testing, there's a whole world of tools available. We've got tools for automating web applications, mobile apps, desktop applications, you name it. These tools allow us to write scripts that simulate user interactions, run tests automatically, and generate reports. Automating our tests can save us a ton of time and effort, especially for repetitive tasks like regression testing. But it's not just about the tools. It's also about the techniques we use. So, we've covered a lot of ground here, from the different types of testing to the tools and techniques used. But before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to really drive home the importance of testing in software quality assurance. Testing is not just some optional extra. It's an absolutely crucial part of the software development lifecycle. It's the guardian of quality, the protector of user experience, and the key to delivering software that meets and exceeds expectations. Think about it this way. Would you trust a bridge that hadn't been thoroughly tested? Would you feel safe driving a car that hadn't undergone rigorous safety checks? Of course not. Software is no different. It's used in critical applications, from healthcare to finance to transportation, and its failure can have serious consequences. Testing helps us mitigate these risks by ensuring that our software is robust, reliable, and free from defects. It gives us confidence in our product and allows us to deliver a positive user experience. After all, nobody wants to use software that's buggy, crashes all the time, or doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So if you're involved in software development in any way, whether you're a developer, a tester, a project manager, or even a stakeholder, never underestimate the importance of testing. So there you have it, folks. We've journeyed through the ins and outs of SQA testing, from understanding its core purpose to exploring the various types, processes, and even the tools of the trade. Remember, quality assurance through testing isn't just about finding bugs. It's about ensuring the software we build is top-notch, reliable, and a joy to use. If you're serious about leveling up your software game, whether you're a developer or just tech-curious, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of tech. And hey, let me know in the comments what other tech mysteries you want us to unravel in future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.